Surry, the fire department responding to numerous calls this morning as all that weather unfolded. Multiple roads closed due to flooding, downed trees and power lines. 2 power lines and 2 connection lines were down on Surry Road, which caused firefighters to block traffic both ways. Although this created a detour for locals, officials told TV5 lines were still charged, which is very dangerous. They wanted to ensure repairs were made safely. One firefighter said, "Work like this, it takes time."
The amount of traffic has been concerning. It's hard for us to reach out to get the message across on an abrupt situation like this. If it's not safe, do not come out and don't drive. The wind is very powerful, or at least it was as of this morning.
At one point, water from Newberry Neck Beach in Surry overflowed into the road. Local officials asking the community to stay safe and have patience as they work to make those repairs.